What is National Intelligence Grid or the NATGRID? NATGRID is the integrated intelligence grid that connects databases of core security agencies of the Government of India. These agencies collect a comprehensive pattern of intelligence and they are readily accessed by the intelligence agencies. The NATGRID was first proposed in the aftermath of the terrorist attacks in Mumbai in 2008. The Government of India in July 2016 appointed Mr. Ashok Patnaik as the Chief Executive Officer of the National Intelligence Grid. This appointment is being seen as the government's effort to revive the project and put it in place the better security. The detailed reasons for the establishment of this NATGRIDs were that the 26/11 attacks on Mumbai led to the exposure of the several weaknesses in the India's intelligence gathering and action networks. The NATGRID is a part of a radical overhaul of the security in this context and also the intelligence apparatus of India, and this was noted by the then Home Minister Mr. Chidambaram. The National Investigation Agency, that is NIA, and the National Counter-Terrorism Center, that is NCTC, are the two organizations that have been established consequent upon the Mumbai attacks of 2008. Before the attacks, there was this American Lashkar operative, that is David Coleman Hadley, who had hit the headline and whose activities were covered by the national and international televisions. He had visited India several times and had done a recce of the places that came under attack on 26/11. Despite having travelled to India several times and having returned to the US through Pakistan or West Asia, his trips, however, failed to raise the suspicion of our Indian agencies because they lacked the system that could reveal a pattern in his unusual travel itineraries and trips to the countries and the context in which he was making trips all around. It has been argued that the system like the NATGRID, had it been there in the place, Hadley would have been apprehended well before the attacks. Now let us see what is the structure and functions of the NATGRID in detail. Now NATGRID is an intelligence sharing network, as said before, and it collects data from the standalone databases of various agencies and ministries of the Indian government. It is a counter-terrorism measure that collects and collates a host of information from the government databases, and it includes the tax and bank account details, the credit card transactions, visa and immigration records, and also the itineraries of rail and air travel. This combined data will be made available to the 11 central agencies, which are the Research and Analysis Wing, the Intelligence Bureau, the Central Bureau of Investigation, that is CBI, the Financial Intelligence Unit, the Central Board of Direct Taxes, that is Income Tax, then there is a Directorate of Revenue Intelligence Enforcement Directorate, Narcotics Control Bureau, Central Board of Excise and Customs, and also the Directorate of General Central Excise Intelligence. Now, NATGRID is being implemented in 4 phases. First 2 of which were operationalized by 2014 and at a cost of 1200 crores, and the first data sets were retrieved at a cost of 1200 crores. In the same year, one Mr. Raghuraman was appointed as a Secretary and CEO of the NATGRID, and he was tasked with the establishment of the grid. The implementation of the third and fourth phases are expected to require amendments to several laws, that is, in terms of privacy laws, to privacy aspects, to allow for the sharing and transfer of data on items such as property and bank transaction details and the internet usage. Unlike the National Counter-Terrorist Center, that is NCTC, and also the National Investigation Agency, which are the central organizations, the NATGRID is essentially a tool that enables the security agencies to locate and obtain relevant information on terrorist suspects that is obtained from the pooled data of various organizations and services in the country. Therefore, it is hoped that it will help identify, capture and prosecute terrorists and help ultimately preempt all the terrorist acts and plots. The NATGRID has faced certain opposition in respect of the possible violations of privacy and leakage of confidential personal information. Its efficiency in preventing terror also has been questioned. That is because no state agency or the police force has access to its database. Thus, it reduces a chance of immediate and effective action. NATGRID also claims to be protected by several structural and procedural safeguards and oversight mechanisms that includes that of external audits and technology safeguards. Therefore, the main opposition has been that the NATGRID lacks transparency in its operations.